1 real quick. If you guys can hear me okay. This is the Idaho 4 Broken Plea by Christopher Whitcomb. I read the prologue like a week ago. So we're going to read it, and I'll tell you guys the chapter 1, the first word. Yeah, I don't think I should say that on live. So, this is Christopher Whitcomb's book, Broken Plea, French Fries and Silver Sedan. And it says, odd as it might sound, everything we truly know about the Idaho Red Rums starts with the song My Only Enemy. During the middle section that sounds old school country after Jelly Roll's opening, but before Struggle Jennings jumps in on rap. My only enemy is me. And though some will wonder how a murder investigation begins with the song, we should consider the soundtrack to be a crucial part of a case that plays out like a made-for-TV movie. Despite 3 years of gag orders and obfuscation of the truth about what police found on November 13th, 2022, at 1122 King Road, it unfolds in documentary fashion with 56 minutes of body camera video. Unlike the officially redacted version, the actual tape reveals details that will prove critical in a forensic search for the truth. If we want to understand Kohberger's plea, we need to fully reconstruct the case against him. Oh. You guys all right? All right, this says the communication, and it says 911, location of your emergency. Police involvement starts Sunday at 11:56 a.m. with Bethany Funk's call to help. Was it Bethany or was it Dylan? I don't know. Something's happening, she is heard saying in a widely scrutinized recording. Something happened in our house and we don't know what. Funk, of course, is one of 2 surviving roommates in the house at the time of the crimes. Investigators would later on conclude that Kohberger left the house around 4:17 a.m., which means Funk waited almost 8 hours before calling for help. What is the address of the emergency? Whitcomb 911 operator Carolina Calvin asks. 1122, and Funk tries to answer through tears, Oh, King Road. And is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Calvin tries to follow up with basic questions about the location and nature of the emergency, but Funk hands the phone to another female, later identified as Emily Alante. I'll talk to you guys, Alante says. We live at the Whites, so we are next to them. Okay, Calvin probs. Tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates is passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. She said that so nonchalantly, it was... At that point, Funk returns to the phone, distraught. Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, Calvin scolds. Stop passing it around. Can I just tell you what happened, pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? Funk tries to provide context, but Calvin wants current information, and things go back and forth until Funk hands the phone to a male, later identified as Hunter Johnson. He can be heard breathing heavily in the background as chaos ensues. She's not waking up, Funk says, returning to the phone a third time. Calvin calmly states, okay, one moment, I'm getting help started that way. She switches to emergency response protocols and in a single transmission launches what will be the biggest criminal investigation in Idaho history. I'm going to pretend like I'm reading to my kids, okay? Except I would never read this book to my kids. Dispatching Moscow Law, ambulance, unconscious female, 1122 King Road. The 911 operator says, units responding, RP's advising the patient is not conscious, not breathing. I'm going to try so hard not to interrupt myself, okay? We cut back to body cam video of Officer Mitch Nunez behind the wheel of his SUV as the audio kicks in. I'm up against something I can't beat. It's playing on the radio. He's listening to his Good Times radio in the background as the Motorola two-way chirps squelch between 10 codes. It's the very same AM/FM system you'd listen to in your own Ford Explorer if it were not marked police. Many cops will tell you, and a little music comes in handy in the middle of a long shift where boredom poses the biggest threat to officer safety. In this case, the shift is Sunday morning after a home game weekend in which the University of Idaho football Vandals took a shellacking from UC Davis. What? What's UC? Much of the campus is sleeping off a night of bar hops and house parties. The campus is quiet, reports have been filed, patrol vehicles gassed up, and it's too late for a hot coffee and not time for a lunch yet. Multiple people at the scene are advising that a roommate at the scene is passed out. A woman's voice breaks through the Jelly Roll song. Not waking up. Moscow 170 en route, Nunez responds, using his badge number as a call sign. Copy that. 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get further. Could you imagine being this cop and what he's about to walk in on after listening to his Good Times radio on a night where boredom poses as a threat? I mean, thank you so much. UFC David. Okay, thank you so much, because I was like, what? Okay, copy that. 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get further. Officer Nunez hits the gas without employing his siren and pulls up in front of 1122 King Road at 12 o'clock and 8 seconds. He shuts down his engine, goes around to the rear of marked unit MPD-5 and retrieves a blaze orange EMS bag. Where's she at? He calls out, walking briskly towards the house. There are 3 women standing outside, Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, and Emily Alante, and they look visibly distraught. Where's she at? Do you have a defibrillator? Funk asks, still on the phone with Calvin. Yep, but where's she at? Where's she at? Hunter Johnson is standing in the open doorway wearing shorts and a blue-green hoodie with his hands up like this, remember? Up here, Johnson responds, leading the officer up a staircase to a second floor. We got a call from them this morning that something wasn't okay, that something really wasn't normal, and I just came in here to check in here and see somebody's down. Johnson leads Nunez through the living room past the edge of the white table set up for beer pong. The place is a mess from recent parties, but Nunez is focused on what appears to be a female on the floor at the end of the hallway. Even from the top of the first floor stairs, he can tell that she is lying face up in a dried stew of mayhem. This is not a passed out call. Co-ed. Fuck, Nunez says. Hunter leads him down the hall to what now is obviously a lifeless body. And I check to see if she's breathing, Hunter says, stepping into Xana's room. He stands over the body of a young woman clad in underwear and a hoodie and says, and she's dead hard. Nunez sweeps the room with the beam of his flashlight, trains it on an adult male lying sprawled across a queen-size bed. The man's legs stick out from under a fawn-colored comforter, naked except for socks. A blue blanket covers his torso and head. And I didn't check him yet, Hunter says, but I'm pretty sure he's 13, Nunez interrupts, speaking into his radio. I think we have a homicide. The shock of realization is obvious. Nunez pauses, trying to make sense of things. Furniture bloodied and violently displaced. Ethan in bed, Xana's legs splayed toward the door. Okay, get back, Nunez tells Johnson. Catch my breath for a second. The room is cluttered with items one might expect to find in a college student's bedroom. But they are scattered. Shoes, a coat, hanger, a plate of food near a fan, and there's laundry in a bin, a water bottle, a cell phone near Xana's left hand, French fries between her feet. There is blood on the walls, the door, the sheets, a nightstand, the floor. It is carnage. I don't know if they are still in here or not, Hunter says, walking back down the hallway toward the folding table set up for beer pong. He says, I grabbed this knife. Nunez interrupts him, saying 1370, turning back to the bedroom for a second look. And Hunter says, "This is the knife I grabbed." And Nunez says, "Okay, stay back there, please. Like, don't come near me, dude." Nunez seems somewhat overwhelmed, slow to process the gravity of the situation. "Fuck," he says. "Could you imagine being Nunez? Just chilling, thinking your shift's like almost over." All right. Then we're... Okay. Which provides the perfect opportunity to pause for context. As a 2019 University of Idaho graduate himself, Nunez was no stranger to college life, and though he was only 25 years old with barely 2 years on the job, it would be hard to consider him a rookie. He had joined the police department in May 2020, and after 5 years volunteering with the Moscow Fire Department, where he gained plenty of exposure to violence by a misadventure. Just months earlier, on April 28th, 2022, he received the Pullman, Washington Police Department's God, this is why I shouldn't realize. Merit life-saving reward for his efforts responding to a September 2021 shooting in the town's College Hill area. According to the citation and local reports, Officer Nunez provided immediate life-saving measures on 2 gunshot victims, one of whom died. I think that he was a good guy, honestly. I think he was wanting to do his job correctly. Okay, let's slow down. Are the next words we hear him speak. Nunez. He has walked back through the living room to the top of the stairs leading down to the open front door. Officer Eric Warner has arrived as backup with no clue what he's walking into. "Just come here," Nunez tells him. "There's 2. Looks like 2 fatalities." Nunez pulls on a pair of black nitrile gloves as the 2 officers move to the bedroom, where Nunez pauses for a deep breath, surveys the scene for a 3rd time, and says, "Fuck." He's trying to make sense of things that make no sense at all. You can hear it in his voice. "Dude." Nunez focuses the beam of his flashlight on the bed as Warner looks on. "I think he might have killed himself." "How'd you get there?" Warner asks. "I don't know. I just see blood. I haven't..." Nunez turns to his radio. 1370, he reports. "For your information, there's 2 college-aged people appearing both to be deceased. Lots of..." I don't know if I can say these words on here. I don't want to get in trouble. Red fluid. Through the lens of his body camera, we see Warner pulling out on his own black nitrile gloves. He seems almost unnaturally calm and collected, the consummate professional. "Yeah," Nunez affirms, using police jargon to describe the 2 victims. "They are DRT, which means dead right there in this situation. I looked it up. Moscow Dispatch would know DR means... Oh, I looked it up and then I remember I read this. Moscow Dispatch would know DRT means dead right there, but that is where clarity ends. From the moment Nunez makes his initial assessment, everything we think we know about this case starts to devolve. Despite all the countless reports and interviews and laboratory analysis, the first moments of this investigation are captured Veritas style on 56 minutes of body cam video. Before we continue, we need to look at why and how it seemed to be ignored. On November 13th, 2022, Moscow police officer Mitchell Nunez filed a report titled Supplemental 3, detailing the initial investigation at 1122 King Road prior to the release of his body cam footage 3 years later. It was the origin story of all we knew about the case, and Nunez's report is here transcribed verbatim. Okay, this is his report, which we all probably know, but it's in the book. On 11/13/2022, at approximately 11:56 hours, I responded to an unconscious subject at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. Upon my arrival, I found a large gathering of people in the parking lot immediately north of the 1122 King Road residence. 1122 King Road is a white 3-story single-family residence with multiple bedrooms. The 1122 designation is located directly above the front door, facing the north. Facing north. I was directed to a bedroom on the second floor by Hunter I. Johnson in the northwest corner to locate the unresponsive female. Upon entering the room, I observed a female laying supine on the floor next to a bed. According to Dylan M. Mortensen, this female was likely Kaylee J. Goncalves. Dylan also lived at 1122 King Road, and I observed dried blood surrounding Kaylee's body and signs of cutting trauma to her face. Kaylee was covered in so much blood I wasn't able to immediately discern where any additional injuries would have likely been. Kaylee was apparently deceased due to her pale skin color, rigid body tone, and apparent blood loss. On the bed in the same room I observed a male lying supine on the bed. According to Dylan, the male was likely Ethan J. Chapin. I know he's wrong, okay? You'll see. Dylan said Ethan was commonly at the residence. I observed blood covering portions of Ethan's legs, surrounding his body onto the bed sheets, and drops of blood on the wall near Ethan's head. As I backed out of his room, Hunter showed me a kitchen knife and said he had it in his possession. I told Hunter to leave the knife and go back down the stairs to the front entrance. Officer Warner and I moved to visually clear the residence for any suspects or additional victims, and on the third floor, Officer Warner and I found 2 additional apparently deceased females, both laying supine in the bed. This bedroom was on the southwest corner of the 3rd floor. According to Dylan, these 2 females were likely Xana A. Kernodle and Madison M. Mogan. One female showed an apparent traumatic injury to her face due to the basic facial structure being unrecognizable. Both females showed very pale skin. Both females were covered in dried blood and apparently deceased. After the residence was deemed safe, Officer Warner and I exited the residence to secure it in the immediate area. To include the parking lot immediately to the north of the residence. I walked outside and began interviewing Dylan. Dylan told me at approximately 400 hours she heard a voice scream and believed it to be Kaylee's. Dylan said she heard Kaylee scream and announced there was somebody in the house. Dylan said she could hear Kaylee run from the 3rd floor, run down the stairs to the 2nd floor into the northwest bedroom. Dylan said she locked herself in her bedroom and continued to hear a commotion. Dylan said eventually she stopped hearing a struggle and heard a male voice say, "You're gonna be fine, I'm gonna help you." Dylan said she did not recognize the male's voice, and Dylan said after a few minutes she peeked out of her bedroom and observed a male described as approximately 6 feet tall, slim build with a black ski mask leave the 2nd floor patio area. This door was likely left open as it was found open upon my arrival. That right there, though, I will stop. That irritates me because there was 8 hours between when this happened and when y'all came. So that door was probably open and shut many times. I interviewed an additional roommate, Bethany G. Funk, who told me she was at the residence during the commotion. Bethany said she was on the 2nd floor in the living room area watching Vampire Diaries with Dylan and an additional person named Lakeland. Bethany said at approximately 200 hours on 11/13/2022, Madison and Kaylee came home from a night out at the Corner Club Bar, located at 202 North Main Street in Moscow, Idaho. Bethany said she also believed Madison and Kaylee went to the Grub Wandering Kitchen truck that was commonly located at the 300 block of South Main Street. Bethany said she and Madison let Madison's dog out, Murphy, sometime between 200 hours and 230 hours. I don't know how to say that in military time. Between 2 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. Bethany said she went to bed around 2:30 a.m. and Bethany said Madison came into her bedroom another time after 2:30 to ask if she knew where Murphy was. Bethany said she told Madison no, and Madison left. Bethany said she woke up in her bedroom, which was located on the 1st floor, to to a sound that she described as a firecracker and a flash. Bethany said that she initially thought someone was playing a prank. But see, like, if that was a weapon, then I don't see how she would be able to see it if Ethan did that to himself. But there's no sign of that, so I don't know. According to Bethany's phone log she showed me, Bethany called Xana at 4:21, Ethan at 4:22, and Madison at 4:22. Madison again at 4:30, and then Kaylee at 4:31. Bethany said she never received an answer on each phone call. She never called Dylan. Never once called Dylan. Bethany said she went back to sleep and woke up around 11:56. So you texted your dad in your sleep about your tooth? Come on now. Initially, I was told Kaylee was likely located on the second floor bedroom with Ethan. After comparing Dylan's initial statement with other investigations officers' observations, it appeared to actually be Xana that was located on the floor of that bedroom room. And Kaylee was one of the other females located in the third floor room. I was originally assigned to identify all of the people in the area. However, I was reassigned by Sergeant Gunderson to begin the search warrant application process. I provided the above information in the search warrant application. All right, we're going to talk about 1960s right now. Thank you guys for being here and for listening, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to be better. I'm going to try better, okay? I'm going to focus. In the 1960s, an MIT mathematician named Edward Lorenz was studying weather patterns when he discovered that small variations in the initial condition of a system could turn into a huge and unpredictable outcome further down the line. He coined the term butterfly effect. Very interesting if you didn't know that. His name is Edward Lorenz, Lorenz. He is an MIT mathematician, and he coined the term butterfly effect because he figured it out, arguing that a monarch flapping its wings in Brazil could create a tornado in Texas, an analytical model that has become the foundation of everything from biology to stock market investing. And though chaos theory is not often taught in law enforcement academies, nothing could more accurately describe what seems to have gone wrong in the prosecution of Bryan Kohberger for the murders of Idaho 4. Idaho 4 has become a term, a word, you know. To make sense of this plea, we'll have to look closely at apparent missteps made long before any of us knew his name. Correct. One issue, in my view, is Nunez. As first officer on scene, he recorded the initial condition of the scene in high-resolution audio and video, but because paperwork is the bulwark of investigation, he also filed a written report, and there, things seem to fall apart. They all hate paperwork, right? He didn't say that, I did. A video proves that many of the statements he later made on paper were in apparent contradiction to what was on the video. And because other steps were taken based on the paper report, these seeming mistakes may have been compounded as additional agencies joined the hunt. Just as the MIT mathematician predicted, small mistakes at the beginning can snowball into outcomes no one could have predicted. In order to make sense of things, one must compare what Nunez wrote with what his video shows. And though detailed exegesis, I can't say words, I'm sorry, should start with the crime scene itself, Nunez's report begins with identification of the first victim, so we will start there as well. Upon entering the room, I observed a female lying supine. I hope I'm saying that right. I've said it that way my whole life. Thank you guys for being here again so much. Thank you so much. We're reading The Broken Plea by Christopher Whitcomb about Bryan Kohberger and the Idaho 4. Okay, so Nunez wrote in the second paragraph of his report, according to Dylan M. Mortensen, this female was likely Kaylee J. Congavez. Female supine on the floor, yes. Kaylee, no. The butterfly flaps its wings. We woke up last night at 4 a.m. are the first words of explanation Dylan actually offers. Nunez's camera captures her talking to Kaylee's ex-boyfriend Jack Decor as he arrives at the house, and it seems clear that she wants Nunez to hear her because she looks right at him. In the main room, pretty much in the main room, and I heard them dancing and laughing. Kaylee went upstairs and she screamed because someone's in the room, and she ran down the stairs and I kept calling her name but she wouldn't answer, and then I saw the guy and I just locked the door and I ran downstairs to Bethany, and we don't know what's going on. There's so many things wrong with all of that. She screamed because someone's in the room. Well, Dylan, how did you know she screamed because someone's in the room? Is that why she screamed? Anyway. You locked the door, but then you ran downstairs? What? You mean you locked your door so the guy couldn't get in there and you ran downstairs? What, honey? Those who have followed this case will immediately realize this is not part of the prosecution's narrative. What Mortensen actually said was, and what Nunez wrote down, differ in material ways. Her timeline, physical description, interaction with the suspect, and other recollections sound clear on tape, but devolve like a game of telephone as events unfold. Can you come over here with me, please? Nunez asks Mortensen at 12:10:01. They step toward MPD 5, his car, as Jack Decor talks with Bethany Funk near an overflowing dumpster. That's where they messed up, too, where they letting them talk. They should not have done that. Every single person, after they found out what it was, they should have all been separated and detained so that, you know, they could get the truth. Anyway, Mortensen, who has facilitated between hysteria and relative calm, stands barefoot while Nunez retrieves a clipboard and some standardized forms. Okay, how much have you seen in there? Nunez asks after a painfully long delay. Instead of gathering time-critical facts, he spends the first 7 minutes on administrative questions about names, dates of birth, and phone numbers. You need not ask about that yet. You need to get stuff fresh on the mind. The clock is ticking, but he seems distracted. I don't really know, Dylan tells him. I just saw my friend laying like that when I called Hunter because we were so scared. We were like, Hunter, can you please come help us? And that's all I saw because Hunter told us not to go in there. Who is Hunter? Nunez does not document in his written report that Dylan said she actually saw Xana's body, apparently prior to calling Hunter. This apparent oversight would be proven crucial. That man right there, she says, pointing toward the house, that helped show you around. Cars drive by, visitors arrive, people huddle under blankets, weeping. So Hunter did go in there. Yeah, and that's when he told us, you need to go call the cops right now. And we did. Jack Decor steps in with a question but is told to wait. And then Nunez says, okay, when? Now, I overheard you talking about last time. Yeah, okay, you don't have to. The more we know right now, the better, but we got to start this process. Somebody will probably be revisiting this interview with you very soon. Yeah, that's fine. So you're probably going to have to retell the story quite a bit. That's fine. Okay, what do you remember seeing? What started? I remember I was in my room and I was trying to go to bed. And I heard Kaylee, Jack's ex-girlfriend, who has the dog Murphy. Nunez clarifies that Jack is Jack Decor, the man standing a few feet away, then follows with questions that seem to have little to do with the murders. He verifies things like parents' names and the location of Mortensen's room before getting down to details about what she witnessed. These are our first witnesses' statements about the crimes. Dylan's exact words matter. They are quoted directly from the police report. All I heard was, I heard her going upstairs and go, okay, I'm going to go to sleep right now. It changes every time, honey. Because she's going upstairs. Heard who go upstairs? Kaylee and the dog Murphy. And upstairs to the very top? Yeah, that's where her room is. Okay. And then also I heard her walking up. I heard her scream and she ran downstairs because she saw someone. How do you know? Oh my God, this girl, she frustrates me. Because she saw someone. That's when... I'm pretty sure she said someone's here. See how that contradicts itself? And then also I heard her walking up, heard her scream, ah! So she ran downstairs because she saw someone. She's saying that matter-of-factly, okay? And then we go to, that's when I'm pretty sure she said, someone's here. Dylan, you knew someone was there. That's what it sounds to me like. And she screamed and just ran downstairs, and I called her name, but I jumped and I locked my door because I was so scared. Okay. And then I heard someone in the bathroom. I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay. I'm going to help you. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened up for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like a mask that was... Whoa. Thank you very much. Scares me. I don't know what happened, but thank you. Whatever that was. Said a gift thing up there, so thank you guys. He was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like a mask that was covering his forehead and his mouth. And then I locked the door and I called Bethany and I didn't know what to do. It's a very long sentence. This was at 4 a.m. He should have said, what time was this? 4 a.m. Yes. And so I ran down. You left here? Yeah, I left my room down to Bethany's room, but she's that one. Mortensen points at the house, the one with the white shades at the bottom. I ran down there and we talked and we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. But you were so scared and you heard somebody. Okay. And everybody was going to bed. It wasn't like they were partying and it could have been a guest. Anyway, okay. I ran down there and we talked and we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. We're like, nothing happens in Moscow. So we just tried to go to bed. And we woke up and it was weird because none of our roommates were up and we called all of them and they were not waking up. And me and Bethany were like, this is so weird. So I called Emily and Hunter to come over and then that's when like this all happened. That's how I want to read it. Instead of asking for clarifications of seemingly contradictory statements, such as Mortensen expressing terror over an accident involving a masked intruder and a screaming roommate followed by, we didn't think anything of it, he moves on to ephemera. I don't know what that word. Who all lives here with you? Mortensen names all 4 victims and describes exactly where they sleep, providing direct contrast to what Nunez later wrote in his report. Nunez even pauses to verify that Xana Kernodle is the woman on the 2nd floor beside Ethan, who is not a roommate but visits often. He takes written notes, pausing to check on spelling and other details. All right, describe the guy you saw. She doesn't remember, dude. I don't think he was a little bit taller than me, and I couldn't really see much of him, but I'm almost positive he was like wearing a full black outfit, and he had this mask that was just over his forehead and over his mouth, and he didn't say anything to me like at all, and I just shut the door and locked it because I didn't know what to do, and I think he went out the side door, the sliding door in the kitchen that goes out to the backyard, and then I didn't know anything else, so I called Bethany and I was like, I just need to come downstairs because I don't know where anyone else is. And I called Maddie and I called Xana and I called Kaylee and no one would answer except Bethany. Okay, Nunez says as Mortensen appears to break down emotionally. She didn't shed a tear though. It's worth noting that in 21 minutes of recorded crying, as seen on the video, it does not seem to me that Mortensen shed an actual single tear. You're doing great, Nunez tells her at one point. I'm scared. It's all right. I'm asking a lot of you, he responds. He does not ask why she's scared now, with police on scene after waiting almost 8 full hours calling 911. Yes, she may have just seen Xana on the floor, but she saw the same thing at 4:20 a.m. also. Good point. Okay, let's go back. I just want to make sure we're getting everything, so you're sure it was about 4 this morning? Yes, it was 4:10. You first noticed a guy? Well, I first heard Kaylee go upstairs and scream and run downstairs. So 4 this morning, Kaylee went upstairs to the way top, yes, to her room with Murphy the dog. Okay, and then you heard Kaylee scream? I heard her scream and run as fast as she could downstairs, and she said, "Someone is here." She ran downstairs, Nunez asks, taking copious notes. Yes, I could hear. You could hear everything, and I'm sure I heard her run downstairs really fast. And then I heard Murphy barking a lot. I asked Murphy. Dylan's bed on the second floor is directly beneath Madison's on the third. The stairway where she heard Kaylee running abuts her wall. We will return to this later. And then I heard her go into, I think it was the bathroom. I remember her sobbing, and I just remember hearing this guy's voice, and I didn't recognize it, saying, "You're going to be okay, I'm going to help you." This is the first time she says this part. But it wasn't in a good way. It wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't in a nice way. It was in a weird way with a weird tone. Probably, I assume, another perpetrator coming to help because somebody got injured from Xana. They're like, "It's okay. I'm here to help you finish this job. You stay here." That could be who the ambulance was called for that I think I hear on the footage. Okay, the spot where Dylan Mortensen stood in her bedroom was 2 doors and approximately 27 feet away from the only bathroom on the second floor. Perhaps Nunez is not yet familiar enough with the house to question how she could have heard a woman sobbing or assess the intruder's tone within those constraints. Right. Nunez confirms that she reports the man said, "You're going to be okay, I'm going to help you." Yeah. And you didn't hear anything from Kaylee anymore at that point? No, I didn't hear anything. So then I kept calling her name. I called on my phone. I called Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee. None of them answered, so I opened up my door to look, and that's when I saw the guy pass. He looked at me, but he didn't come toward me or say anything, which seemed confusing to me. I don't understand that. And then I'm pretty sure he went out the side door, and then I called Bethany. She said she thought maybe there was a fire or like fireworks. We didn't know. She heard this loud noise and a light, I guess. Did you hear like a pop or a bang? Dylan turns toward Bethany for clarification, but Nunez brings her back and says, "What? Just what you heard." I didn't hear that. A silver sedan comes up the street, and Nunez interrupts this already disjointed interview to ask the driver where he is going. When he returns to Mortensen, she seems to be searching for reference. "I don't think I ever heard a bang," she says. "I didn't think anything about fire or fireworks, and since I called her, I don't think I heard anything of that. But I was also in and out of it because I was so scared, and I was really tired. That's when I called Bethany and I told her I need to come to your room because she was the only one who was answering me. So I ran down there and for a second I stopped and I saw Xana passed out, and I thought that maybe she was just sleeping or something. And I think because I was so out of it, I went into Bethany's room and we just fell asleep." "No, you didn't, you liar." "And then we woke up to this morning. No one was waking up at all." I mean, like, no one was answering, which was really weird because all of us wake up around like 9 or 10, and then I called Emily, who brought Hunter, to come check. I thought, like, they woke up at 11:50 or something. Viewing the tape, I wondered why she would ask a female friend for help instead of calling 911. Nunez does not ask. Perhaps more confusing, he does not ask Dylan how she decided the woman he had just seen butchered on the second floor could possibly have been mistaken as sleeping. Also, oh shit, I forgot. Anyway, she's such a... Hunter came here first, and I told him what happened, and then he looked in the bedroom and said, "You need to get out, call the cops." Did Dylan do this all herself? I don't know. No, I don't think so. Okay, the guy you just saw, it was dark, right? Or were there lights on? I think there were lights on in the house. I don't really know what he looked like because he had a mask, but he wasn't super tall. How tall are you? I'm 5'10". I think he was maybe my height, an inch or two higher or lower. I can't really remember. If you're just joining, we're reading The Broken Plea by Christopher Whitcomb. I'm on page 49 of the hardback if you want to join along. So about 6 foot. I think so, around there. Okay, how was he built? Fat, skinny, stocky? more like skinny, but basketball player skinny, but not too skinny, but almost fit skinny in a way that's like what I think, I don't know for sure. Oh, God. Okay, and then the voice, you said when he said those words, you didn't recognize that voice before? I didn't. No, I didn't recognize him or his voice. I mean, I also couldn't see him, but I didn't recognize that voice at all. It didn't even cross my mind who that could be. Did you guys have a party last night too? Or not tonight, but there was a Sigma Chi party and we had like a formal thing beforehand. That was 2 days ago. Okay, is there anything that popped out about that event? Anything that was concerning? No, I mean, I went to Sigma Chi because Ethan, he is a Sigma Chi, and Xana and him are dating, and Xana went there. I was also there for a little bit, and then I went to my friend Allie's house down the street, and then I came back home with my friend Lake and Bethany. Everything was fine, nothing weird at all, nothing suspicious until 4 a.m. Weird. A red sedan passes on the street as Nunez turns toward Bethany Funk and a group of friends huddled under blankets near the dumpster. Okay, alright, I don't think I have any questions for you right now. Somebody else will be talking to you, so let's grab that. He points to the blanket she's standing on. Let's go back over there. With that, he moves to the first interview with Bethany Funk. Before we go there, we need to acknowledge the apparent differences between what police body cameras recorded and what is written in reports. If we want to determine when the butterfly wings started gathering momentum, we need to go back inside the house and start matching Dylan's account with what police actually found. As we will gathering momentum, we need to go back inside the house and start matching Dylan's account with what police actually found. As we will soon discuss. Stop. I'm so sorry. My battery's dying. That's the end of chapter 1. I hope you guys heard the last of that. Should we read chapter 2? Ooh, oh my gosh. I don't have time to read chapter 2. Crap. Thank you guys so much. That was chapter 1 of Broken PLEA, Christopher Whitcomb. I will try to go live in my car when I'm in the pickup line, but I have to go get ready. Our kids get out. They don't get out at 3. They get out at a different time. So, I forgot to wash my hands after my self-tanner. So, what did you guys think? I wish I knew how to find my lives afterwards so I could see, like, hey, Jesse, I just read chapter 1 of the book Broken PLEA. I'm actually about to have to get off, and ooh, yeah, I'm old. Oh, I've been sitting on this. Next time I'm sitting in something better. Oh, I'll do my makeup. Let's chat while I get ready. I can't sit on that anymore though. It's killing me. Whew-wee. So, Dylan's a liar, right? Can we all agree on that, at least? And also, he says it in the book. In order to figure it out, we have to go back. What happened before? What happened immediately after? What happened in the weeks leading up to this event? Because this is 4 different people, 4 different lives, 4 different sets of parents, siblings, college, careers, like 4 different people. That's a lot. That's a big web, okay? A lot of connections, a lot of things that may or may not have happened, but what would all 4 of them have in common in order for this to happen to every one of them? Do you think, I don't want to get in trouble. Y'all, we'll read a few chapters a day. I will at least try to. When my husband's off work, it's hard sometimes because I don't want to, I just get embarrassed, okay? I don't know. I feel silly. But he's my husband. He has seen me at my absolute worst. So I feel so bad for the cops that came on scene, and they are good cops. They're like, what the hell is going on? And then they're reassigned to something else. Have you guys heard any of the body cam footage where the cops are like, can you imagine like this happening and not calling 911? Like, who does that? They've said that. And not shedding a single tear. Does she get Botox? You don't shed tears if you have Botox, right? I've heard that. I don't know if it's true, but I just want justice reading it, and when they're talking about finding them, and the fact that they wrote Kaylee and not Xana in Ethan's room, that breaks my heart, because it's, to people who don't know the lore and the background, she's not a good person. She's just not. But like, them not even being in the paperwork as being together in the very beginning, like they had to correct that. And it just breaks my heart, because they were, Ethan and Xana seemed like soulmates, right? Dylan. She does not give me, oh, I want to help my friends vibes at all. Not at all. Dylan gives me, I want to get the F out of here vibes, because I'm not sure. Because of her involvement, or because she knows and she's scared. I don't know. Bethany's hard for me to read. But Dylan, her eyes kind of give it away. I think they're quiet. I think with what we're assuming happened to Ethan, and he was possibly the first one down. I personally believe he was. I think that for her, it's easier to disconnect from that, because if I were asked questions on live TV about it, I would break down. Same, girl, since before they got Brian. And yes, that's what freaks me out. The way she's looking at her. Like, aha, bitch, you better, you know what's coming. It's creepy. It's freaky. She's not reliable, obviously. They should have interrogated her. Like, pushed harder, you know? They did it with Chris Watts, you know? Then they didn't have to do it in a mean way. But they set him in there for hours and hours and hours until he told the truth. But they also did have video footage of him doing what he did. So, I don't know. Yeah, long before any of that, yeah, Dylan has been, I've never wanted to give her a pass. The only one is Hunter. But I go back and forth with that. And that's because I had a friend who saw a very disturbing scene, and it was his best friend, and now he's gone too from, you know, and that look on his face that Hunter has, my friend never lost that face, like the gaunt eyes. So I don't know with Hunter, he's the one I get like, did he know or did he not know? Oh, why am I having to play games? To prove I'm human. I don't know. Hi, Annie and Normie. Hello, hello. He does look completely different. He truly does. Is it because sometimes it had to have, I cannot ever forget the cops on Banfield, the people that run behind them. Okay. And like, it had to have had cooperation from, yeah, right. Is it guilt because he knew what was going to happen? Because he set it up? I don't know, but it's something's eating him alive. And if he doesn't ever tell, if he ever doesn't get it off his chest, it's going to end up being his own demise. Oh, man. But it had to have the cooperation of somebody who knew the house and the kids, the people, the cops, and then the organization that I think climbed up the ladder, got on the roof, and went into Xana's room and got Ethan, they didn't have to go in a door, in my opinion. They went in the window through the ladder that was there for days, weeks, probably. And in the window and got them, and there was probably someone waiting on the girls in their third story. So 2 separate pairs with possibly, 2 perps here and 2 perps climbing up, and then 2 others here waiting. Or Kaylee heard what was going on and she was going downstairs and she saw somebody's here, and so she ran back up the stairs to get Maddie, or Maddie ran down the stairs to see what was going down, and they both got attacked because they saw what was happening with Ethan and Xana. Maybe they weren't even meant to be hurt. And then the post-mortem wounds could be because, well, they're already gone and I hate her anyway, so I'm just going to go, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't there. This is all speculation, allegedly, entertainment purposes only, all that. But, yeah, I don't know. I wish we did. I really wish we did. I don't know. Yeah, they were. It was like jealousy, crimes of passion. If you guys don't have the book, I will keep reading it if you guys want me to. It's already one. Okay, I got to go. I'm so sorry. You guys are joining and I'm having to go. Thank you guys so much. Oh, hi, Christy. Thank you guys for being here and listening to me ramble and read terribly from the book. I'll get better. I just, have to catch my breath and not have so much anxiety. Like, how do you do that? I don't know, but when I find out, I'll tell you guys. I got to get ready to go get my kids, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'll try to give you the, someone that it had to have been, someone that they knew and trusted. Real quick though, I feel like, and I said it in one of my videos, like, it sounds like on the Linda Lane camera footage, the parking lot that we see, between 1 and 1:15, a lot of people seem to drive up. And I would think that those kids would walk to parties over there, And they drive up, and it sounds like, everything is going good, and the guys are singing, and then they stop singing, and it seems like things get real bad. And he says, say my name, whatever, I feel like those people came, they thought that they were buds. The fraternity guys thought they were buds with these cool gangsters, they thought that they were cool, but they really weren't cool. Something happened. I don't know. So they yell, you told me it was blow, but it was actually this. And I think Ethan OD'd, and people didn't want to go to prison for that. And possibly they just took out everybody that might have known. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for being here. I really do have to go, and I'm really sorry, but I'll be back tomorrow. And y'all want to say, like, let's see, I need to go. It needs to be in the morning. I gotta go to the gym. Y'all want to go live? Yeah. It's not a party. Those aren't party screams. So what's going on there? So tomorrow, let's go live around 10, from 10 to 11, and then that'll give me an hour to get ready to do what I need to do tomorrow. Okay, guys, we'll go live tomorrow at 10. Okay, can y'all be here? 10 Central. Thank you. I'm gonna read more and try to memorize it, and that way it's easier to read it and I won't stumble over words. But I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you in the next one, and y'all take care of yourself. Go outside, get sunshine, drink your water, take your vitamins, take care of yourself. You deserve it. I know sometimes when we buy Jen, name twin, that rhymed. I know sometimes when we get sad and depressed and we're listening to this stuff, it's easy to get in a funk. So take a shower, wash your hair, do your makeup, make yourself beautiful, even though you already are just the way you are. And, yeah. get your sunshine. That's the most important one. Some sunshine and love in. Okay? I love you guys. Have a very good day. I'll catch you tomorrow.